You know, most of us spend our lives searching for answers. Why is the world unfair? Why are people selfish? Why does suffering exist? And my favorite one, why do good people get the short end of the stick? We're all addicted to answers. We need answers. We want the river to answer before it even flows, and the bird to answer before it sings, and the rain to answer before it pours. But life isn't an exam paper, people. It's a dance. And Dharma, it is the rhythm behind the dance. So I ask you a question. Can Dharma really answer yours or my questions? Can it explain why humans kill, lie, betray, or worship the wrong things? Dharma doesn't always answer the world's questions, people. It answers you. You see, the intellect wants conclusions, and Dharma gives context. The mind wants reasons, Dharma gives awareness. And when awareness deepens, the need for answers quietly fades away. Think of life like a giant tree. The intellect is the height of that tree. How tall, how visible, how impressive. But Dharma is the depth, the roots beneath the soil. You can't see them, but without them, the first storm will bring the whole tree down. And that's exactly what's happening to humanity. We've mastered the surface, people, with technology and logic and religion. But the roots, the inner being, are starving. We're brilliant at survival, but poor at living. And to live by Dharma is to move from the why of the world to the who of the self. Who am I from the inside? What moves me? Why do I react the way I do? That's where the real treasure lies, people, inside of you. Because the answers you chase on the outside are like waves. They rise, they crash, they disappear. But the answer inside, that's the ocean. Still, infinite, unbothered. So how do we begin? By observation, perception, and expression. Observation, seeing without a bias. Perception, understanding without opinion. And expression, acting from that understanding. When these three things align, we start to live from awareness instead of reaction. I'm going to give you a set of experiments, people. Do this yourself. It's not the kind of experiment you'll do in a lab, but the kind life keeps throwing at you. I want you to learn to detox your observation from 3 poisons, people. External influence, logic and memory, and ego. If you can get rid of those 3 poisons, there's nothing like it. And let's break that down. External influence, meaning food, people, place, karma and time. Your body and your mind eat together. Your body and your mind eat together, people. If you've ever been cranky after a heavy meal or blissful after a clean one, you know exactly what I mean. Food isn't just nutrition, it's vibration. Every bite you take becomes a mood. Every mood becomes your perception. And then come people. Oh, people. The moment you enter a room, your frequency synchronizes with others. You absorb energy and emotions, expectations, and before you know it, you're no longer you. Add place to the mix, whether it's a temple, a church, mosque, or synagogue. It feels so different from a nightclub, a hospital, or from a beach. Every place carries its own consciousness, and if you're not alert, you'll begin to live as the room and not the being. And time, the most underestimated influence. We're obsessed with the past and terrified from the future, that past future back and forth. Completely missing the only one time that's truly alive, and that is now. That's why sages say, this too shall pass. Because time, my friend, is just movement. You're the still point in it. Time is contour. And then we have logic and memory. Logic and memory are like two old accountants. Two of my accountant friends. They're like two old accountants. They love balancing things but never enjoy life. They're great for survival, terrible for peace. Logic wants proof. Dharma wants presence. Memory clings on to pain and Dharma flows through it. So let me share a few stories with you people. Well, one of them is my favorite. I share it often. And that is the story about who is the real loser. And maybe you could relate. A poor washerman found a shiny stone on the road, and he tied it, leveling it around his donkey's neck. And a passerby noticed that it was actually a diamond, and he tried to buy it. The washerman refused, saying, "My donkey loves his new ornament. He's happy, I'm happy." The man haggled for hours, haggled and haggled, raising his offer from $100, $500, but the washerman still refused. Finally, when the washerman rested, another man came along and bought the stone for $5,000. And when the first man returned, furious, he shouted, "You're a fool! That was a diamond worth nearly $100K. The washerman smiled and said, "Sir, you knew it was a diamond, and you still wasted hours bargaining. I sold it without regret and slept peacefully. Now you tell me, who really lost more, you or me?" That's Dharma, people. It's not about gain or loss. It's about peace of mind in the moment. The next story I share is about the dead cow. Those of you who may know, there's a wise man called Kabir. Kabir, when he was young, was sent by his guru Ramanan to fetch some cow's milk for a ritual to feed the ancestors. He found a dead cow on the side of the road and stood before it with his bucket and utensils, waiting and waiting and waiting. And when his guru found him hours later, and he scolded him and said, "Kabir, the cow is dead. How will it give milk?" Kabir smiled and said, "Guruji, your ancestors are also dead. How will they drink it?" And that's Kabir, cutting through blind ritual with the sword of living truth. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was being real. And that's courage. Dharma demands to see through the shell and find the soul. And my third story for you, I hope you're relating to these. The third story for you is, a merchant once entered into a Sufi shop, and he saw these jars labeled love and faith and hope. And he asked, "How much are they?" And the Sufi said, "They're all free." The merchant ordered a jug of love, several jars of faith, and all the packages of hope. And the Sufi handed him a tiny little box. And the man exclaimed, "How can everything fit into this tiny box?" And the Sufi smiled. "In God's store, we don't sell fruits, only seeds. You have to sow them." And that's Dharma again, people. It gives you seeds, not ready-made answers. What you do with them determines what grows inside of you. And then the final layer, ego. Ego is like salt in food. A pinch adds flavor, and too much ruins the dish. There's the natural ego that protects you, the created ego that defines your identity, and then the double created ego, the one society bakes so hard that even truth can't even crack it. Children are born with this natural ego, the spontaneous, the curious, forgiving. And then the school, culture, religion, and opinions slowly cover them up. And before we know it, we're running on created ego diesel instead of natural ego petrol. No wonder we sputter through life instead of cruising freely. So people, do you have the courage to be unapologetically you? And that is the real question. Dharma doesn't give you answers. It gives you eyes. It doesn't tell you what to think. It teaches you how to see. And once you see clearly, life becomes effortless. Not because it's easy, but because you stop resisting it. So ask yourself this question. How do I give you an idea without giving you an idea? That's the paradox of Dharma. It's not taught, it's caught. So maybe next time life throws you a question, don't rush to Google it or quote some scripture or some knowledge. Sit still. Observe. Let the question breathe. and perhaps the silence will answer you better than words ever could. Until next time.